Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. Welcome to another edition of the International Forum. I am Wilson Ambasha. Well, it's all about what is happening right now between Israel and Hamas, despite the fact that the man they call the man with the magic wand, the number one man on planet Earth, so to speak, President Donald Trump of the United States of America, he broke hard a peace deal between Hamas and Israel. Yes, once upon a time there was a ceasefire. All of a sudden, everything melted. Hostilities resumed. The question now is, has he lost his magic touch? What do you think went wrong? How come Israel is still hammering seriously on Hamas in Gaza or anywhere that could find them? I'll be here in the studio talking about this. He's a legal practitioner, Black First commentator. Join me to welcome Emmanuel Obakpolo, Esquire. Barrister Emmanuel, it's good to have you join us on today's edition of International Forum.
Pretty good day to Nigerians.
All right, so Trump came out, was saying that he has the answers to turbulence in the world. He's going to start off with Israel-Hamas conflict, and later he will dive into what is going on between Russia and Ukraine. People were applauding, saying yes, he has the magic wand, he has all it takes to really make sure that there is peace in this region. Of course, when he came into the picture, there was a ceasefire. People were hoping for it to continue for quite a long time. That might be just lead to a de-escalation of the situation right now between Israel and Hamas. But it is not the case anymore. Constant bombardment, constant hammering by the Israeli Defense Forces against Hamas. What do you think is really going on?
Well, we see, if you look at the situation today in the globe, you would agree with me that indeed he who wants peace must first prepare for war. And before the emergence of Donald Trump as the President of the United States of America, the presidential elections of 2024, so many anticipations towards him. And I think because of the world was so ravished in war, we have the Russian-Ukrainian war, we have the Israel-Hamas, Gaza war, we have the Chinese Taipei, Taiwan, the North Korea, South Korea saga, so many turbulent time. And because of the class of personality that Donald Trump belongs to, so many persons thought that he would probably be the bridge that will bring peace to some of these turbulent jurisdiction as it is just now. And I think that led to or contributed grossly to his emergence as the President of America, because the Democrats who were in power at that time seemed to have a leave of support to some of the parties, particularly if you speak of Israel. They were there with Israel and also with Ukraine under the Democrat leadership. But Trump seemed to be the man that may come up and be the solution to the problem that some of these areas are facing. But the man came on board on the 20th of January 2025, and one would not be fair to him to make a conclusion that it may not be the solution to global trouble as it is just now. But again, if you look at what is going on, himself bringing up policies that he thinks will help America, because he said, make America great again. That is his phrase. And so because of that, he has come with policies which are probably affecting other parts of the globe and seem to secure and protect the average American, according to him. And now, that on the one hand, and here he is battling with also world peace. And he has made several attempts to see how the Israel-Hamas can come to peace with the war that is ravaging the Eastern Bloc just now. But if you look at it, I think that there may not be peace just now in that area. And the reason being that the war there has been an aged war for a very long time. If we go back to memory lane, particularly from 1948, this drama has been on board, and the world seemed not to have gotten the solution to the war between Israel and their Arab brothers as it is. And so the war now is taking different dimension. Firstly, it was Israel-Hamas. Before you know, it metamorphosed to Israel, Hezbollah. And now we have come back again to Israel-Hamas. There are other tiny groups, terrorist groups, so to speak, in that area that seem to have a grip of the government in Gaza, call it Yemen, another part of the world. And also, you know that America herself is also at war in Yemen, also fighting some of these groups. And history has it that America has a hand in the grooming of some of these groups.
But you just cannot prove that.
That's why I said,
notion.
no, by my word, I said history has it. And so, if you now think that you want to broker peace between Israel and Hamas at Gaza, and here you are, you who is the peacemaker, you're also at war in Yemen, bombarding, then what do you think that kind of peace would be? So I think there are a lot of policies from the United States of America that needs adjustment or amendment, as the case may be, to achieve this peace has been proposed by Donald Trump. His own government need to sit very well and begin to think inward of how the policies as drafted and executed by him is now affecting the globe, because the center of all is make America great again. And not some of those policies do not support world peace because they are purely economical. And you cannot remove economy, the growth of a global economy, from peace. The world probably could be in hunger, and here you are crying for peace. The world probably could be in being treated unjustly, and here you want peace. In the words of late Peter Tosh, he said everybody is crying for freedom, but no one is crying for justice. So by the time you cannot implement justice, and here you are crying for peace, that peace may not come. And I take you back again. I think that is the singular reason why those who belong to the school of thought that if you want peace, first prepare for war. So now the world seems to be at war, because in Russia, Ukraine, there's war. Israel, Hamas, like I mentioned in my introduction. So when you begin to carry out a view of all of the happenings, and you see the injustice has been melted by even the man who claims to promote world peace is also doing on the other hand, and you marry them together, you will discover that there is indeed a challenge, and that peace has been sought for just now may not be achieved until, like I did say, there could be an amendment or there could be an adjustment to ensure that things turn around for the better.
Okay, if you take a look at the situation, you get to realize that Donald Trump came out blazing, saying, look, there must be peace in Israel, between Israel and Hamas. And he did it. For a month or thereabout, there was ceasefire. And right now, Israel and Hamas are trading blames. If we take a look at what is on the ground, who is really at fault? Who is the one responsible behind all these resumption of bombardment or hostilities? Release our hostages. All right? There'll be peace. And right now, is it like saying that there will not be a particular post, it will be materialized even after the war ends? Who do you think is really stoking this ember of war?
Let me tell you, Wilson, that terrain has some unique factor, and it is a long-aged battle, like I've said. For there to be peace, as a matter of fact, you must go back to history and take a good study of history and see what the problem really is. Some have argued that the problem is all about land dispute. Some have argued that the problem is coming from the angle of religion. Some have argued that the problem is coming from maltreatment. But then, who is really telling the true position of what is happening in that jurisdiction? So, I think that the proper steps and factors that needed to be put in place to ensure peace in that area has not been met. I think so. So, and I think that is the reason why I did say from the outset of this program that there needs to be a proper measure, one, to ensure that there is justice. Because when there is justice, the man who is crying, that look, you are melting on me injustice, and say, okay, for me to die as a lame man, I'd rather fight as an hero. And here we are. So, the international community, particularly the United States of America or United Nations, as the case may be, should look inward and see how history could be a factor to ensure that there is peace in that area. Now, Israel say, okay, for there to be peace, this is our condition. The question now is, what is the condition given by Hamas? Are they ready to live? Are they ready to do away with the doctrine that they have been put into historically? So the doctrine is another factor that is affecting them, and another factor that is causing disturbance, war, crisis in that area. So if Israel say, this peace can only come, give us the hostage, those you took hostage, and let there be peace. Has Hamas released the hostages in their custody? If Hamas hasn't released the hostages, would you not blame Israel to start carrying out hostility as we have just now? Now, on the side of Hamas, what is your own take with respect to the condition you are giving for there to be peace? Are you saying that Israel should vacate the land? Who really is the owner of this land? And mind you, the same Donald Trump, when he came in his first term as the president of America, declared Jerusalem as the capital of America. And there was...
The capital of Israel.
A capital of Israel. And there was outcry by the Gazans. Now, no, you cannot declare Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So now, what is the nature and degree of this peace being sought for? What are the modalities? What is the condition? Are we still going to experience a situation where even after the peace comes, the peace may be an interim one, just as we have witnessed for 1-2 months there was
the ceasefire, yeah.
Ceasefire. Now hostility has begun. What is the reason for the continuation of the hostility? So these are some of the things that needed to be put on the table. Then see how we could arrive at a proper peace, or peace as it is called, in that area. But I want to tell you that I do not think Donald Trump has the solution to peace there.
All right, fine. Now, on one hand, America, like what you rightly said, is hammering on the Houthis in Yemen. And the Houthis in Yemen are in support of Hamas. Now, people like saying that Donald Trump is aiding and abetting the Israeli Defense Force. How will you really place this kind of insinuation? Is there any more truth in it? Because they are saying if America really want to, like, end the war between Hamas and Israel, Donald Trump has all it takes to do that.
You know, the problem we have just now in the world is the style of politics that we have witnessed and experienced. To every disturbance, there is politics. To every war, there is politics. And also, some of the so-called superpower nations today are benefiting from crisis. So why do you not think they wouldn't want to trigger crisis? Because crisis boosts their economy. Who are the manufacturers of the weapons? Who are those who are interested in the oil in the Arab world? Who are those who are interested in the gas in the Eastern Bloc in Europe? Who are those who are interested in how they could have a proper control of world economy? So by the time you make all of this consideration, you would agree with me that the peace that is being sought for is also political. So if you look at the peace just now, just like you opined, we discover that there are different fragments of terrorist group within that bloc. And all or majority of them are against the stance of United States of America with Israel. And as such, because Israel happens to be the gifted child of the United States of America, so they think that there is need to cause crisis, chaos, anarchy, dispute in that area. And by the time steps were taken, because looking at this Israel-Hamas war, to be fair to Israel, it was an unprovoked one. And that was why, at the beginning of it, the man called Benjamin Netanyahu did say, and I quote, that Israel did not start the war, but Israel will finish it. And today, the whole world seems to be in proper stand with Israel at the beginning of the war. But the length at which the world has gotten to, there is this sympathy that is coming from some part of the world. We even saw how some countries, even in Africa, South Africa to be precise, went to the International Criminal Court to see how Israel could be sanctioned for the genocide, as it was called, in Gaza. But behind all of this legal battle, the crisis proper, I did mention that we have the political angle of it. And some of this political angle, some countries, the big powers, are benefiting economically from it also. So by the time war boosts an economy of a superpower, then you now think that superpower would want that war to cease or to come to an end.
To the U.S.?
Yes, the United States of America.
How would you accuse them? The president is seeking for peace. He said peace must reign between these two parties.
Listen, that is what we see in the physical. That's what we see and hear in the open. But behind closed doors, what do we know about it? Politics of war is not something that you can easily place your finger on. The politics of war is the most dangerous part of politics to be played, and it is mostly played by the superpower nations. Politics of war is not for kindergarten. Politics of war is not for children. Politics of war is not for those who are in nursery. politics of war is for the adults. And when we say adult now, the class of adult is the superpower adults. Those who want to see the economy of their country being perfect. And because of that, there is this side taking before, during, and of course, probably interimly after the war. And that is why you see that the break that was experienced and witnessed at Gaza between Israel and Hamas was also political.
In what ways?
In the sense that, okay, since there is this sympathy from every part of the world now towards Hamas, let's cease for a while and create an opportunity for Hamas to give in, throw in the towel. Then, if they can throw in the towel, then we will ensure that there is peace. But when they staggered towards throwing in the towel, we would know that indeed they are ready for whatever will come upon them. And that was the singular reason why there was a break interimly. Now, it has started again. I want to tell you that the particular group of Hamas who operates and runs in Gaza do not know the fragment of another group or the group generally that has the custody of some of these hostages.
Are you certain of this?
I'm very, very certain. Because, like I did say, there are fragments of groups in that block. And some must have taken some of those hostages very far. Some must have even killed them. But Israel and the United States of America, who has data of their citizenry, know what the persons who are missing. And as such, they are holding their sway to say, produce these persons. So and so and so. They call them by their names. So and so and so are missing. So and so were taken by you. But the germane question now is, which group took these persons? And in whose custody?
Are you not saying that Hamas has a splinter group that don't work together? Is that what you're saying right now?
It's a network.
Because they came together, attacked Israel, took some hostages. You say they don't have a record. Is that what you're saying?
They don't.
How would you say that?
They don't. They know themselves generally as particular groups. But, like I did ask, which group has the custody of these hostages? That they may not know. And I think that is the break in the chain reaction that is now causing them much problem, because they cannot produce those hostages. They cannot produce them. So, in that instance, do we now say that Israel should just take it hook, line, and sinker? Israel is saying no. Produce them. Israel has made several attempts to go into the territories, underground territories of the groups, and have succeeded in releasing some or giving some freedom, as the case may be, while some, they cannot really tell where they are. And I think also that the group who is leading the war at Gaza do not have these hostages in their custody. And as such, it becomes another brand of calamity.
So it is like, a tangled web.
Yes.
They don't know what is really going on, because Benjamin said he wants those hostages. Hamas said, look, we've been following the terms and conditions laid down by President Donald Trump. You guys are the ones defaulting. You guys started hostilities. We never wanted this war to continue, because it was a phase-by-phase plan. Phase A, Phase B, and of course C, for the total restoration of peace. But they are saying Israel, with the conditions that are given to them right now, it will be too difficult for them to come in terms with. So can one deduce that these conditions given to Hamas by Israel was intentionally given to them by Benjamin Netanyahu to give this excuse of power to keep hammering on Hamas, no matter whose ox is God?
No, I do not think so. It is not a deliberate condition to ambush Hamas. It is not by Israel, particularly the man called Benjamin Netanyahu. It is not deliberate. But I think that the problem here is, if you look, at the beginning, Hamas was keeping to the conditions at the beginning. But when it got to the point of the release of the hostages, there was now confusion. And Israel has made it clear, express, that you must produce those in your custody. The hostages must be produced, dead or alive. So why is Hamas withdrawing from that condition? That is what I am telling you now, that I think that they do not really know the group that took those persons hostage. Despite the fact that they have a network, there is already a break in the network. Some would want to be leaders of their own group. They will claim sisterhood with the other group, or brotherhood, as the case may be, with the other group. But would want to remain, what is the word now? Independent of themselves. And as such, they may not even be resident just now at Gaza. So the group that spearheads leadership or rulership, as the case may be, at Gaza, may not have those hostage. So it becomes another brand of problem on them. And I think that is where Israel has seen that these persons may not be able to produce those on hostage. Then, if you cannot produce them, the war must continue. And that's why hostility resumes. So, what is needed to be done now, in my mind, is that...
Hold on. Before I talk about what we should do or what should be done by this warring faction, some of the opinion that, look, let bygone the bygone. You've suffered losses. We too have suffered losses. Why not just end it? According to them, what they took from Israel wasn't up to 3,000. But Israel has succeeded in eliminating over 10,000 of them. Don't you think there is logic in what they are saying?
That is not an excuse. In the fourth place, why did you attempted the war? Why did you attempted the killings? An unprovoked war? An unprovoked crisis? That is what Israel is holding on to. That this crisis, this war just now at Gaza, is unprovoked, is a senseless one. They must admit to that fact, that indeed it was a senseless one. So, coming to tell the world that, look, we have done our best possible to see that we cease to this crisis at Gaza, is not enough excuse for them. The reason being that Israel is taking a stand that the persons in hostage must be produced.
All right. Israeli Defense Forces, they are hammering seriously, yes, on Hamas. They are saying they are fighting insurgents, they are fighting terrorists. They are saying, no, innocent children, innocent women, the elderly, they are dying in cause of your bombardment. Why not just give it a rest? Why not just take a breather, take a break? Both have suffered losses, let it go. But Benjamin said, no, we want to see the end of this. If they are not alive, give us their bodies. So what is so difficult in this particular request? But some are saying, Benjamin, have so much skeleton in his cupboard, that he wants to prosecute the war for as long as possible for him not to be indicted. After all, they have lots of accusation, allegations leveled against the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Don't forget about the splitting or dissolving of the war cabinet. General saying he's not going to take part again in this kind of war because he's self-serving, so to speak. Now, what do you have to say about that?
That political arithmetic may not be correct. Israel is a country that values life. Israel is a country that sees as citizens to be very important, special species of persons. Israel is a country that takes the citizens serious, unlike what we have in our clients, where governments shy away from their responsibility and shift it to the people. In Israel, the government does not shift responsibility to the people. Its own responsibility, no. Also in America, that's why at times when I hear leaders from this part of the world will tell you, in America, they say, think what you can do for America and not what America will do for you. But the first step was taken by America. America did something for our people. And that's why the man who made that comment initially was bold to say, think of what you will do for America. Because already America has taken out its own social responsibility. When you fail in your responsibilities and you make a deliberate attempt to shift it to the people, you are a failed government. And I think that's why the government as led by Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel is insisting that you must provide those hostages, dead or alive. Now somebody is coming out to say, oh, the man is just only looking for a leeway out because he has committed a lot of atrocities. Leave that until we get to that bridge. Just now, what is on ground? What is on ground now is the safety of every Israeli. So, if that is the objective, how will that objective be achieved? Is to prosecute the war at Gaza.
Prosecute the war at Gaza.
At Gaza, yes. That's why I started by telling you, I quoted Benjamin Netanyahu, where he said, I repeat, Israel did not start the war. Israel will finish it. That is a government that takes responsibilities.
So are you not saying that the war will continue?
The war will continue.
Abraham says, what is now that Donald Trump failed in his tactics of bringing about peace between both parties?
He may fail because himself is prosecuting war in Yemen. Has he withdrawn from Yemen? And don't you think there could be a split of that war at Yemen to Gaza? So the war.
So you're saying America is helping Israel?
That is not an hidden truth. It's an open factor. I did mention also, in course of our discussion, that Israel is the golden child of the United States of America. And so now, look, Israel has legal ground to prosecute this war. But the only thing that some of us are saying just now is to table sympathy with respect to those who are innocent. But the summary of all, and the only reason why this war must cease, is give justice to all.
Thank you so much, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolowo. You've heard him. He said the war might just continue to a logical conclusion, according to Benjamin Netanyahu. He said he wants those hostages, dead or alive. Just bring it. And it may interest you to know that right now, Hamas, they no longer have much grip over the government in Gaza. And that is one of the aim of the Israeli Defense Force. They are saying they don't want anything called Hamas in government, in politics, in religion. Okay, fine, not religion though, in education, in all sectors. They should disembark from any form of government in Gaza before peace will reign, and they're going to take them out because of what they did to them. Was that last year or thereabout in October? And that's 2 years ago, thereabout, and the war is still raging on. Despite the fact that Trump broke out the truce, not for just a month, and after that, they resumed hostilities, and Israel is seriously bombarding, shelling Gaza, all in the quest for Hamas. How long will this last? Who will be the casualties? Would Gaza remain the same after this massive, massive bombardment? Only time will tell. We'll do it again next week Tuesday on the same platform. Bye for now.